In this video, we'll look at how your balance is affected if you make the minimum payment every month and make only small additional purchases. For this specific example, we have Mackenzie, who is starting with a balance of $1,500. Each month, she only charges $150 additional to her credit card. And at the end of the month, she pays the minimum balance of 2% rounded to the nearest dollar. Her annual percentage rate is 18%. And her credit card company uses the previous balance method to calculate interest. We want to find her ending balance after those 3 months, as well as her finance charges. First, we'll look at January. We're going to use the interest equals principal times rate times time formula. So in January, her principal or her beginning balance is $1,500, and her rate is 18% for the year, which means if we divide that by 12 and change it to a decimal, her monthly rate would be 1.5% or 0.015. So that's the value we'll be using for our rate, is 0.015. When we find that, we get $22.50. We'll add that into her previous balance, which was $1,500. And now her balance, including that finance charge, is $1,522.50. She's going to make an additional purchase worth $150, which now brings her balance up to $1,672.50. She pays 2% of that, rounded to the nearest dollar. So we're using our interest equals principal times rate times time. So she's going to do a one-time payment of 2%. Rounded to the nearest dollar is approximately $33. As a payment, that gets subtracted. So her balance was $1,672.50. She makes a payment of $33, and now her ending balance is $1,639.50. We're going to continue this same process for February and March because they asked us to do this for 3 months. So for February, her principal is $1,639.50. Now, I'm going to try to save some work here. Rather than finding 1.5% and then adding it, I'm going to multiply by 1.015, and then that will give me the ending balance with the interest plus the principal. So the 100% would be the principal, and then the 1.5% would be the interest. So 100 and 1.5% would be the ending balance. Now that is going to give me $1,664.09 if I round it off to the nearest penny. Now I'm going to be making an additional $150 in purchases. So that brings me to $1,814.09 if I round it off to the nearest cent. And I'm going to be paying 2% of that. So times 0.02. Rounded to the nearest dollar is $36. And since that's a payment, that's going to get subtracted from my balance. And now my ending balance in February is $1,778.09. All right, and we'll do this one last time for March. My starting balance was $1,778.09. I'm going to use that shortcut again and multiply by 101.5% rather than finding the interest and adding it. And that gives me a new balance of $1,814.09. $804.76 if I round off to the nearest penny. She's making an additional $150 in purchases each month. So if I add that in, that brings me up to $1,954.76, rounded off to the nearest penny. And she is making a payment of 2%, rounded to the nearest dollar. So multiply by 0.02 and round to the nearest dollar. That is $39. Payments get subtracted, so we take her balance after the purchases and then subtract her payment, and her balance at the end of March would be $1,915.76. So you can see that even only spending $150 every month, her balance continues to increase while making the minimum payments.